Sit up.
Regardless, we are rolling here.
We're rolling.
Boys are back. New
So Taylor,
series.
did you leave? We gotta shout you out
Yo, we're cooking in Miami right now.
in Miami. Welcome.
welcome,
Punch
yeah.
Chance. Holla at me. Stop playing with me.
It's been a sprint the last 2 days. Big
It has.
you big news for you, by the way.
Big news for us, but we'll get there.
Yeah, okay, I didn't know if you want to kick it off that way.
I want to go start with the trip. Start with the beginning.
Where
How are
is
you
the
feeling
beginning?
about going into the trip? You haven't been to Miami before.
Yeah.
I want to and eventually consider this a second home. But
You would live here?
I would.
I don't know that I would.
I think I would.
Just not up my alley.
I'm a city guy though.
Yeah, you are.
City boys.
You've always lived in a city besides your one house.
Yes, correct. It's fun.
I guess it's the nature.
Yeah, I like the access, man. I like to be able to dip and dive, go different spots,
Yeah.
things to walk. I'm a walker too.
Yeah, I'm a walking nature guy, not a walking
Yeah. You
city
want to go
skyline.
walk and like kind of just life will take you where it takes you.
Yeah, walk in the woods. That's what I do. But oh jeez, we're falling. Trip's been good so far. Yeah, my biggest thing has been the elevator.
Okay.
That thing's been freaking me out.
Explain
I'll
to
tell
the
ya.
people.
Dude.
You struggle with heights.
Oh yeah, I'm not a big heights guy, and right behind me is 29 floors down. But I've acclimated to this.
You have acclimated to this. pretty
I've not
well.
acclimated to the elevator. The elevator's been sketchy, all of them. There's 6 of them, and I've only been in 3.
Our fob's doing well for the others. We have one elevator that's giving us problems.
Yeah. You
But
need a
heights,
damn.
regardless, is it the speed of the elevator once it goes down?
I don't know. I think it's just like how much in my head I think could go wrong. I just don't like it. I don't want to get stuck in an elevator.
But think how much is going right.
That's great. But what if that off chance happens?
Again, between you and Taylor, I'm not doing this right now. Y'all in this negativity, bro.
No. I'm thinking of the possibilities, not the
She's back
negativity.
though. She's back though. I actually wanted to get on mic to tell us how back she is.
We're back. We're all back.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been here.
You've been here, but I know you've been going through a little bit of like it's almost like a similar version of like a cabin fever when it comes to the training. Like I do feel like a training, I guess the monotony of it, like doing your routine all the time, you need to sometimes break it up. And this was a perfect breakup of it, even though after you've already done such great things in your training so far, like now you need the break to go kind of reset a little bit.
Yeah, you need a reset, and this has been a perfect reset for me.
Yeah, I think the resets are always beneficial.
It's completely out of mind, out of sight. Don't have to worry about it. I was debating training while I was here, but now that I'm here, I think it's best that I don't.
Okay.
So we're not even gonna do it. But still
That's fair.
lifting and sauna, taking advantage of it.
Oh yeah.
Overall, great trip. We still got a few nights to go, though.
We've got a couple nights to go, and we've got some things we want to plan. We've got some things we want to do, but content's being shot.
Always being
We're in a
shot.
good space.
Yeah, phenomenal space.
How was the week, though?
What, before here?
Yeah, how was the week leading up?
Did we record this week?
We did not.
Oh, I don't. Jeez.
I know. So I'm trying to go into the week first before we get into our.
I forget the week.
great things we got
because
going
of
on.
everything that's happened in the last 2 days. To be honest, I think it was just a training week for me because I was just pushing for Miami. So
It was a blur.
it was a blur for sure. How was your week? Yeah, it was a
It
stress.
wasn't a blur. I remember a lot of the things that I did. I remember having to be very attentive to a lot of the things I was into. It was, but now that that's gone, I think that the stress, which is hard, I don't like to call things stress, especially if I like to do it. It doesn't feel like it has to be a stressful nature thing, but it's stress nonetheless. And all of those things have kind of been lifted now to a degree. Now there's new stressors, because the things don't really stop. They take a pause. They don't stop. And so, but we needed this. It's actually a great psychological endeavor for us to be able to start something, finish it, and now get on to the next thing. So that's a fun ride. But trained some athletes, continuing to work on some negotiating and working out some deals with people that I really like, and trying to get out of deals with people I don't.
Business
So-
things. Business is always rolling.
Business is always rolling, man. There's
Yep.
business going on right now.
Yo, dude, I made a new business friend.
You made a
That
deal
was
today.
Crazy.
You had some negotiating power today.
That
Talk
was,
to me.
I mean, it wasn't even a negotiation; it was a conversation. But I went down to the coffee shop down
Shout out
here.
to who? Hold
Panther
on.
Coffee, is it?
Panther Coffee.
Panther Coffee in Miami.
Bam, 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 bam.
Yeah, I went down there. I sat down on the couch because I thought you guys were coming back, so I was going to chill there for a little bit. Had to get you back up, but this dude is in there on his phone, and he looks at me because I'm the only one in there. He's like, "You look young. Let me ask you something." And
I
then
like that.
He needs help on his phone with like technology or whatever, or something simple. I just helped him. And then we just started talking. Dude's next thing I know, he's like, "Yeah, I was a doctor. I got a few houses here, a few yachts here." I'm like, "Yo."
People want to talk about the things they have, the things that they do.
I hope he
want
wasn't lying. I mean, he seemed genuine, so we're
Listen,
rolling with
I mean,
it. No reason
to
not
tell you he had that, to go out of his way to tell you that he had those things, that would be an interesting thing about. I mean, it's not that people haven't done it. People do want spotlight, and they want to be able to be in that the focus, even if they're not, depending on the rooms that they're in and stuff. So, but I can't think that he was just like coming. He just told you to come over so we could lie to you.
Yeah, that doesn't seem like the environment to just lie about something like that.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, so he told me all the things he has going on, all the places he's moving and doing these things. I was like, "Yo, this is crazy."
It is crazy. Get in here now.
We're best friends now.
Get in here now.
Yeah, that might be against
Shout out to
TO.
Taylor. She's got a lovely 2-piece on.
Might be against
She's
TOS,
gonna go
to
touch.
be
She's gonna go
honest.
touch down at the pool. Sauna? You're not gonna wait?
Yo, the sauna's lit.
Nah, well, you can't even go in with this anyway.
Yeah, we'll get banned on YouTube for that. They don't be playing.
Yeah, that's correct.
They lame. Nah, I'm just kidding. I
Shout
like
out to YouTube. Shout out to all the subscribers on YouTube to watch, like, view, and subscribe on our YouTube.
Always, yeah.
So now we're here.
I forgot I had this stupid bucket hat on, by
Where's
the way.
that L? What's the bucket hat from?
Lemonheads, come on. It's my brother's wiffle ball team. We talked about this.
Well, so Big Tim, we're gonna have to have a chat because I don't have a hat, and so I'm not really rolling with that, brother.
he's been
But
actually
shout out to the Lemonheads.
he's been actually waiting for a boundless hat.
He has been waiting for balance. So that's a swap. That's a jersey swap right there.
Jersey swap.
That is. Taylor, get in here now.
No. Not yet.
Taylor's hiding from the cameras because she's slightly nervous.
It's okay. We got a big platform here.
Yeah. The marketing girl is nervous. Incredible.
Go figure. Yeah, but
So now we are here.
we're here. We're rolling. Japanese barbecue was fire, by the way.
Talk to me about
Never-
the Japanese barbecue.
Never had it. It was cooking.
What's your favorite part about it?
I don't know. It was a cool dynamic. You know, you get to cook your own stuff.
That's the fun.
Yeah, that is the fun.
It's a different thing than you would usually do, and it's so outside the norm. Obviously, you cook things the way you like to when you're home, but it's nothing like being able to go to a restaurant and kind of dictate how things go because they almost have like zero liability. Like,
Yeah, they bring
unless
you
their
out-
food is just like it's gonna cause you. No, not even that. I was gonna say like a salmonella type of situation, but like that's on you to cook it.
Yeah.
Now, what I didn't like about this one versus the one in where I went prior, they told us how to cook it and how long it was. These guys did not tell us how long it was, so we could have had some liability. We could have won something.
One of us
But,
could have sacrificed it.
Yeah, we could have sacrificed it for sure.
But
Where are you going?
Oh, I need a fob.
You are gonna need that fob.
this dang key fob, man.
Everybody put in the comments, tell Taylor to get on the podcast. Okay? Tell her to stop playing around. Stop being scared. Can we get DJ on here one day?
Yeah.
He'd be fun. He'd have a good time. Shout out to DJ.
Shout out to DJ.
Shout out to him.
Coming back up.
Alrighty.
We're
So
living
Japanese
life.
barbecue was great.
It was good.
We had a good time.
It was good.
And then it was lock-in time.
Yeah,
Once we
for you
got
guys.
back, slight. I don't think I was at peak stress either. I think peak stress was like on the way here, but I wasn't there. Went to sleep, studied, right? Studied prior to that. Went to sleep, got it done. Woke up early. Didn't feel great either.
Yeah, that was interesting. that we both woke up a little whack.
Yeah, but then I think it's the acclimation to the heat, to the cold, to the heat again, to the cold. And I think that kind of got me a little out of sorts. Because it's not like it's super cold in here.
No, I mean,
It's about 70. Like, I keep my place on like 65.
there's
67.
definite difference from outside, though.
Yeah,
So that probably was the case.
it is.
But nonetheless, I feel fine now.
Yeah,
You feel fine now?
I'm feeling pretty good now. But I'm feeling pretty good for multiple reasons because now we accomplished the mission, man.
Yeah, the whole
Accomplished the
trip
goal.
was a success now.
The whole trip was a success, and now we are
Yeah.
FIBA licensed agents.
Crazy.
Meow,
Well,
meow, 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 meow.
you living the life, doing what you got to do.
Yeah, man, it feels pretty good. It feels good to start and finish something. And one of the things I was thinking about too, as I was not even before the test, I think a little bit after, was, and I think no, I'll tell you this. Going into the scenario this morning, I felt like I was going to do well, and I had a lot of confidence in it based off of just the knowledge that I'd got. And then we talked to some of the people who were taking the test too. There was about 45, 50 people who were taking it, and there was professional basketball players, former professional basketball players, guys who coached in different leagues, guys who were just starting to become agents and wanted this as a first trial for them. And we all kind of went into it unsure slightly. And I've never been unsure about like a test like that, at least at this level of what I'm doing. And we went in, test was much easier than we had anticipated. Still lots of information that you have to know, and that's important for us to kind of identify, but we had an easier time than we had imagined. And I went into that after, at least internally, like, I don't know how much I can. You don't want, I guess, the highs and the lows so much.
Yeah.
You know, like, because if I didn't pass, which was a slim chance, but based off the preparation, but let's say I didn't. I don't know if I'd obviously be feeling as good, knowing that, like, even if I didn't pass or not, I'd still be in Miami, I'd still be with you, I'd still be with Taylor, there'd still be so much potential for still a good time.
Yeah.
But how do you kind of control your highs and lows?
It's a good question. My highs and lows, I mean,
I'm still gonna ask good questions on vacation.
yeah, hard hitting questions
gotta
always.
think.
It's
On vacation.
I'm trying to think of my highs and lows recently that I've had. To be honest, it hasn't been a lot of lows. It's just been a lot of the same thing. So I don't know. That's not a low, so to speak. It's just
Right.
like managing your energy
Right.
more.
I could see that.
So I mean, my last low was getting smashed in my jiu-jitsu comp and then going home and being like, man, what am I doing? But
When? Like,
that was spring. Like,
Okay.
since then,
that wasn't the one I went to.
no. What did you go to? No, that was my first one ever.
That was your first one. You did well.
I did
Considerably
all right.
well.
I did all right.
You did considerably
Yeah.
well for the first time.
For the amount I was training, and yeah, I did pretty good, I guess. But
Yeah, no, like as a baseline for what
Yeah.
it is. Like if you were to tell somebody this is the first competition you're having, and they saw you do what you did, they would say, I would think someone would say to you like, you're on the right track.
Yeah.
It wasn't like you didn't blow out the competition. It wasn't
No. Mm-hmm.
unbelievable, but like you won and you got a chance to see yourself win.
Yeah.
Which is important. Like
It-
that's a major step in directions.
yeah, it's just interesting when you put it into perspective of like where I am now. It's just like, yeah, I didn't do that good. But then you go back to, I was only training for months at that point. and
Yeah.
So yeah, it did pretty good. But highs and lows, I mean, like I enjoy my highs and I try and embrace my lows more instead of just kind
I
of.
felt like I was gonna embrace it too if I had
Yeah.
failed.
I felt like you would have too. I think regardless how you did, I think it wasn't going to affect the rest of your weekend.
Correct.
So that's kind of what I see,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's what you would have done. But nonetheless, you pass. So we're on a high.
Yeah, we passed with flying colors too. We did a really good job, man. So shout out to Taylor, shout out to the FIBA, shout out to everybody who was there. We're gonna see some people probably a little bit later. We connected pretty well. Shout out to Ethan, shout out to Jordan. Those are good dudes. And from different walks of life too. That was probably the coolest part about it. We Met a couple guys from Kentucky, Atlanta, Tampa, the Bay Area, Dominican Republic, Oregon, Portland, Texas, you name it. Like, there was people from everywhere taking this thing, and it was cool to, like, you can congregate with people that are all trying to do the same goal. So, like, and we talked about it yesterday of finding like-minded
Yeah.
people, and I felt like I was going to find some there, but obviously they're not all so close. So, like, but it's cool because you could still connect, and that's what's cool about the internet, Instagram, Facebook, you name it. I think that the social media does do a great job with that stuff after you've met those people. So, like, now that you've met them, you've verified them, they've also shown you that they've had the same mindset as you, trying to take their career to the next level. It's nice. But I do want to ask, we talked about it a little bit yesterday, resolutions. We're getting into December, and we're not too far away from New Year's.
Still haven't hit Thanksgiving, by the way.
We still have not hit Thanksgiving. I have a couple questions on Thanksgiving as well, but we'll get to that too. Resolutions, though, we talked a little bit about that yesterday at dinner.
Dude, I already forgot what I said.
This is why.
What did I say?
I felt like you'd forget.
Yeah,
You got a lot going on in that brain, though.
I'm a forgetful person.
That's all right.
It's actually, it's weird. Sometimes I remember like the littlest things, but recently I've been noticing I forget a bunch of things.
Like
and it's
what,
not
though?
like very important things. It's just like
I think that's it, really.
something
though.
will come up and I'll be like, I don't remember
Yeah.
something specific about.
I think it's also how you're starting to see. Because I remember when we started some things like this, when we started talking about doing the podcast, and you were saying, you know, you're doing school and you're doing jiu-jitsu and you're training a little bit, like, and it wasn't at the height of it. So, like, there wasn't as much, like, major performance that you had to keep up with.
Yeah.
You were keeping up with yourself, you know, and even that in itself is still a task.
Yeah.
But, like, you could totally remember more things when you're just, like, locked in,
Yeah.
like, on a couple tasks. But now that you've got this, the editing, the jiu-jitsu, where you're training at a higher level now, to then making sure you're meeting people to create guests and connect, and you got school still, and you're trying to meet people and learn and have those like-minded conversations and things. You will forget stuff.
Yeah, it's almost like a filter. It's like the things
What's more important than something else?
like what's the importance factor here? If it's not critically important, it's usually not something I'll remember
yeah,
greatly.
if it's not within like the 48 hours of importance, then like, we're gonna
Maybe
probably move on.
I'll try and keep it in my head, but yeah, I've been noticing I've been forgetting some things, and like my resolutions completely forgot what I said.
Sure, 100%.
And also because I didn't put that much thought into it, it was kind of spur of the moment. Like, let me just think of something that I would like to do, and
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
impulse. So, now what are my resolutions? Because I might have the same ones if I remember. I've always said I wanted to learn another language, and I think I put that one in there.
You
But,
did. You said Portuguese. Why Portuguese specifically?
Well, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and MMA, there's a lot of Brazilians. So, like, the mindset
well done.
if I was a media guy at, like, the UFC events, if I was able to interview the Portuguese fighters in Portuguese, and that'd give me a little bit of an advantage.
That's really interesting.
So
I
I'm
wasn't even
always-
thinking about it from that angle. Maybe I should have started thinking about it from that angle.
I'm always
'Cause
thinking
I
advantages.
kinda like that.
Like, how do I get the next advantage?
Yes.
And if I can speak 2 languages, I can interview more people and not
Correct.
need a translator.
Correct.
So that was always my thing for Portuguese. Maybe I ran it a little bit and then I kind of stopped, but maybe I'll
We're
try it
using
again.
Babbel.
Huh?
We're using Babbel.
Duolingo.
Duolingo.
Come on now. Duolingo is the man.
There's so many though. Now I think there's becoming a lot of them. It's Duolingo. There's Babbel. There is Rosetta Stone as an oldie.
I know
But
that.
that's like the staple. That's a foundation.
I came up on Duolingo in school, so that's what I ran with.
Got it. Do you know anybody who actually has learned a language that you know, like at your age, using Duolingo?
No, it's always been they just came up growing up knowing that language. So I can't say I know anybody that used Duolingo to really learn a language.
Gotcha.
But yes and no. But I'm gonna try. I'm gonna give it my best shot.
You're gonna have. I think you'll have fun with it too. It's a challenge, but I think you'll have fun.
I walked into a shop today as I was roaming Miami while you guys were taking your test. They all spoke Spanish, and I had no idea what was going on.
You want to learn at least every 3 words. Or
It was
something
humbling.
Like that. It is humbling because just people can have and most of those people who who do know the first language is something else than English, then they usually do have sufficient knowledge in both, which is nice. Like there's no price on that.
Yeah. Yeah. So I would say another language maybe is my
Okay.
resolution. How many do we need here?
I can go 2.
Oh, jeez. Podcasts, YouTube subscribers to 100,000
100,000
at least.
in 2024.
At least.
Okay,
If we're doing 2 a week, at least
we're doing 2 a week right now.
we are.
That's actually not bad.
We're actually backed up a little bit. We got a few in the hopper waiting to go.
Oh, I thought you meant 2 subscribers a week.
Oh, no. I think we're actually doing more than that. We've been growing pretty well.
Shout out to you guys. Shout out to you guys, man.
Yeah, 100K subscribers. Let's get it rolling.
100K subscribers.
I'm not here to mess around.
I like it, man. Listen, you don't have to talk to me about thinking big. I like it.
Because we're almost at the point where it's like our equipment is good to go.
Yeah.
Like there's a few things we still gotta get
Want to really
on track.
like, yeah.
But once we're honed in and we can record consistently,
Yeah.
I don't see why 100,000 isn't in the play.
I like it. That's the type of thought. That's the type of big brain stuff I like to hear.
Yeah, I mean, dude, this is what I want to do. So let's do it. Like, let's just do it.
I'm in. I like it a lot.
But yeah, so let's hear it.
So, mine were, I want to meet more like-minded people, and I want to make in those like-minded people, I want to make 5 new friends. I think the 5 new friends for me is new friends in my space. I think that's who I can.
Pause.
Let me pause.
Let's reset.
I want to meet 5 new people who I can call friends in my space, outside of my space, being the sports agency world, sports management world. I want to meet 5 more people that I can call friends, who just have the same drive, the same emotions, the same feelings toward life, and some of the things that I'm just overall interested in. I think it's not an easy thing at my age to be able to do it as quickly as we used to when we were growing up. Like between, I would say, like 16 to like 23 was probably it was so much easier to be able to find people who you could easily gravitate to, who had a similar drive. But then now that things have changed because of career paths and what people are truly investing their lives into right now, and what they find more important than everything else. Like, what's your hierarchy of need? And like, I think we all want to be successful, but like, it depends on the pace. And like, my pace is always quick in the like, how we're gonna start being active in the pursuit. Not that like it needs to be like, I'm patient. Like, I'm patient in all the things that I like to do, and I think sometimes that comes out to people as if like, starting fast, people think I'm not patient because I'm starting quickly. But like, I understand if we have all the things that we could do, I'm ready to go. Now it's just, I'm patient from the build. Like, there's more to do every single time we're trying to get this thing off the ground and keep it going further. But like, I just want to meet more people who are trying to get things off the ground,
Yeah.
and move things along. And usually there's a passion behind it, and I need more of those like passionate people to keep driving us and learning more things. And then I want to do business with more people that are just as passionate as I am, in collaboration, not just transactional things. Correct. So like, a shout out to our guy Tom Sclafani. Like, he's the man. But what I love about Tom is that we collaborate on things. And we talked about this a little bit yesterday, but like, we collaborate on doing not only business the right way, but also ideas. We're very idea driven together. And like, one of the things I loved about him in the start of it was he would say, we can go to your office and come and let's talk ideas out. And like, let's see what comes up together that works for you and works for me. And instead of it being transactional, and like, even if there's money involved, it never felt like I was giving him something for a service, you know? And like, I don't want to be doing services for people unless it's so financially beneficial that like it's hard to just deny the service. At least at like where we're at in our business, like we can decide what we do with people, and it doesn't have to. It should never feel like I'm doing something I don't necessarily really want to do, like that I'm not really super interested in, and I only want to do things that I'm interested in.
Yeah. There's this whole, I don't know, there's this whole idea of people saying you should do what you want to do, but then there's the contradictory of like sometimes you can't always do what you want to do.
Eat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Oh.
it's almost like a juggling act, and once you put in the work of doing things maybe you don't want to do, you can set yourself up to be collaborative and not have to do those things.
Yeah, you got to offer something. You know, you got to offer things that are going to provide somebody with value that you can get paid for. That's a major part, if not the biggest foundation of capitalism. You know, you have to be able to provide something that's going to give somebody something that they can hold on to, that's tangible. And maybe not tangible right now, but it could be tangible in like a month. It could be tangible in 6 months. But it's something that eventually they can hold on to. They can see the value rising or diminishing. And so, but that could be one of the things you do that allows you to grow. Something might take longer than others. Like the black belt process takes a lot longer, but it doesn't mean you can't start competitions now to show up as somebody you're capable of something. So same premise in a lot of ways. Like you got to be able to show people what you're made of so you can get to that spot.
Yeah.
But yeah, you got to eat, man. It's hard.
Gotta eat.
Life, you got to eat. You got to pay bills. Those things don't change. And like as fun as all this process has been, I do know like what's the next thing. You know, you want to be able to sit in it, and like I've sat in it so far, like. But now my brain is starting to shift to like, okay, what's the next thing we got to start doing? Well, how do we get this thing rolling further?
Right.
You know, it's nice to be an agent in a couple different spots and to have another agent with you. But now it's what's our next thing? How do we start gathering the talent? How do we start helping them with contractual obligations, getting them to what they want to go to, and helping them continue to pursue their dream? So it's going to take some time, man. But
yeah, I mean, like you became an agent, but if you can't get players to be under you, right, it's useless.
It can be. You
So,
know,
like, how are you?
in
Yeah.
theory, yes, right? In theory, yes, it becomes essentially useless, but that all depends on your timing. Like useless, it could become useless to you if you feel like you had to do it in a year, you know. And so like the timing has to kind of match with your intentions, you know. I think that's also an interesting point too, like being ready for something, right? Like I was thinking about that a lot too, where I've had people tell me like either when they took a test or when they went to, or in a relationship where they went somewhere, they did something and they were like, I'm not ready for that. I don't think it's a good time for me to do it. You never hear that? I heard that so much in building relationships though. Like intimate relationships with people, when something goes bad or something goes right, they say, I don't know if I'm ready for that next step. I don't know if I'm ready for this. I always wonder what that means. Like, what do you think that means? What's something that you felt like you weren't ready for that you feel like now that may not exist?
Oh man, that's a tough one.
It is a tough one.
Not ready for?
Like, I think you've told me so many times, I asked you when you were getting into competition, and you were telling me, like, I don't know if, like, I might be, like, 6 weeks out. Like, obviously, you have to go through the cut and things like that, but mentally and physically, to be able to actually compete, you would say maybe, like, I'm not 100% ready yet. And I always think that people are ready, but there's something else that needs to take place in order for them to feel like they've crossed that proverbial line, the invisible line in our brain of like, now I'm actually ready.
Yeah, it's that mental block. At least in competition sense, it's always the underlying feeling that you're not fully prepared to go out there and compete, whether that's your diet or whether that's you're not training enough. So I think that's where that mental block is of crossing that path. Like you want to do something, you want to like get on your diet enough to feel that you're ready,
Mm-hmm.
so that you can sign up for that competition and
Right.
be ready for it. But that's where I think it comes from, at least for jiu-jitsu, is like you in the back of your head you can say, or in the like you could say you're ready for it,
Mm-hmm.
but in the back of your head you know you're not eating right, or you know you're not training enough.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that's kind of what's holding you back, is that subconscious mind.
Mm-hmm. And like and once you break that barrier and you've seen yourself do it enough, like you can, like, even going into the test, like going into any test I've ever taken for certification or some test that I'm like 4 for 4 on my test that I've taken, and every single feeling I've gotten was, man, I don't know if I'm ready, I don't know if I'm fully prepared, but I know that I know all the information on this thing, like, and I just got to do it. Like,
Yeah.
at one point you just have to go and trust your. It's crazy. I hate the phrase trusting your process because it's overused, but like, it's real. Like, trusting your process is such a important aspect of being really good at what you do.
Yeah. I mean, just take the leap of faith and
You gotta.
execute. You
Yeah.
always say execute, and you gotta
Execution
execute.
is everything, man. You gotta execute on the things you say, the things you do. It's important, and sometimes you fail at execution, and it's not sitting in it too long, but it's understanding there's got to be a solution, though. You got to figure out what that solution is.
I have another idea. I have another thought that came into my head recently, and I might have to. I don't. I gotta kind of talk it out because I forget exactly where I was going with it.
Okay.
But I don't know if I heard it. I think I thought it because of something, and then I heard someone else say it. So I'm like, all right, 2 times is a charm. Now I got to bring it up in the pod.
Okay.
There is a place for ignorance. There's a time and a place for ignorance.
Okay.
And
Explain.
God, it's killing me that I don't remember what I was thinking about. I think it was along the lines of almost what we were just talking about, of taking that leap of faith and going for it. It's like, if you know there's a steep challenge ahead, your mental block is telling you not to do it because you know it's going to be hard. But it's almost like if you jump into it unknowingly what it's going to be like, or you just don't know how hard it's going to be, like, that ignorance can get you where you want to go more than being conscious of how difficult something might be. So, like, I think I was thinking about it on the, like, learning the piano, because I've been on that little shtick a little bit.
We're going to learn the piano.
It's like if I ignorantly just jumped into taking lessons instead of researching and figuring out how hard it might be, then that ignorance might take me farther than that research can.
Correct. I like that. Yeah. I think, and that's the same ideology of, like, kind of not being ready versus ready. And like, sometimes you shouldn't try to always prepare yourself for certain things. I think sometimes you have to jump in. I think we're too calculated sometimes. And that calculation can't always, sometimes it just completely gets in the way. Like, if it doesn't go the way it needs to go, and that's where the idealistic mindset can kind of come into play. I think that always gets me a little worried about people. Like, I worry a lot about people in business, but also just in life, who are so idealistic. Like, it has to go this way, and if it doesn't, then, like, I think everything is kind of out of whack.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just like, hey, I want to learn the piano, and, like, I want to find somebody who I think can teach it to me pretty well, and I want to grow with this person, so, like, I'm going to try and just do it. And so you do it, and you will go through lumps. It doesn't mean you won't go through a lot of them, but, like, yeah, sometimes we just got to kind of go through lumps and, like, try to get through it.
Yeah. I always, whenever I think of the word ignorant or ignorance, I always go back to that Kendrick Lamar song, Ignorance is Bliss. It's one of my favorite songs.
What album was that on?
Section 80, I think.
Section 80. Wow.
But I always go back to that song because it's one of my favorites, and I never knew what ignorance is bliss meant. I always just liked the song, so I was listening to it. And then as I progressed in life and kept having experiences, it's starting to click, like, ignorance is bliss
Ignorance is bliss.
real. Like, it can be real.
That is a fact.
But so that was my take on ignorance.
Speaking of music, New Music Friday.
New Music Friday. Drake, your boy.
Drake just dropped again. They said he was going away. I got a text this morning. No, I got a text last night from Kyle.
Remember this?
Shout out to KP. He was very shocked that Drake was going to drop again. and I think he did the okey doke on everybody.
The
Said he was going to go
okey-doke.
away. Went away for like probably 4 weeks, and he probably wasn't even really away. He was just trying to listen to the people, saying, you know, he needs to go sit down for a little bit. The music needs to stop dropping, and I think that's an easy way to say they're kind of tired of hearing his music a little bit, but which I kind of am, to be honest. I kind of am tired of hearing the music. I haven't fully listened to the project, and I think once we get into the car again, shout out to the Tesla, man.
Dude,
Tesla's fun.
we started off bumpy with it, but I think you're coming full circle on it.
Yeah, no, it was definitely bumpy only because of just like, dude, it really is a complex vehicle when it comes to like the start. If you've never driven one prior,
It'll get you.
you're not gonna get it right away. But once you get it, you're like, I can't wait to get into the car again.
It took us like probably 30 minutes in the parking garage.
Yeah, I do want to do autopilot at some point though.
I'm here for it. I'm here for the ride. So just don't even tell me you're in
Well,
it.
how do you start? How do you listen to music you want to listen to? Like if there's your favorite artist, if Kendrick drops like next week, how do you listen? How do you listen to him first?
I just listen to it.
Through what? You just turn it on your phone like this?
Yeah, I don't have a full philosophy like
Oh,
that.
dude, it's car test every time.
No, I just be putting it on.
Everybody comment, how do you listen to your music? Either just by over the phone, headphones, or car test. I personally think the car test is the only way to listen to music off the rip. So Chris Brown, you already know how I feel about Breezy. Like he's the man.
You're putting me on Breezy, by the way.
He
R&B you've been putting me on R&B.
I
Actually.
have inadvertently putting
Yeah.
it to you because this is just what I listen to at this point. But Chris, man,
I woke
that
up
album
Chris
is unbelievable.
Breezy.
11-11. I'm telling you, 1 through 15 or 16 is absolutely no skips, and his tonality, the way that his writing camp is ridiculous. Shout out to Rocco too from Philly.
Hey.
Rocco from Philly. I showed a few people Rocco, and I don't think people. It's funny. Like I feel like I do have a pretty good ear for music, but I always try to continue to keep pushing it forward. Like for people that I think either the sound sounds like what it's supposed to be like today, or there is somebody who I just like. I just genuinely like, and I like the way their songs come. I like the way their music sounds and their content too. Like I think content's really important. Like I want to hear what you're talking about. And I'll never not enjoy that. You know, I think some people, I do like that they are not talking about some things. Like I don't love lyricism all the time.
Oh, I do. To be
I don't
honest.
always want it though, because
My
like, it's
thing.
time and place, right? And it's also because you're not in the nightlife yet.
You're
Like,
right.
you're not in nightlife, so like the minute you get there, you're not gonna want to hear the Kendrick song.
I kind of separate it though. I mean, not that I'm a nightlife person.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's what I'm saying. Like once you start, you're gonna separate it.
Like I don't want to listen to lyricism in the club, but that's what
That's
I
what
listen
I'm saying.
to out. Yeah. So absolutely.
Yeah,
I
like
separate
I
it.
totally break it into different categories. Like I do not want to hear certain songs, even like for my favorite artists. Like I don't like. There's J. Cole's probably my second favorite rapper, and I don't want to hear some J. Cole songs out.
Who's your number one? Drake?
Drake, yeah, I would say Drake as of right now.
Mm.
Like I would say he's obviously he's just in the elite of the elite at this point. But Breezy came out, one of my favorite. We didn't even really talk about that last Friday, but album's unbelievable. And shout out to Rocco too, because Rocco made a couple songs on there, and he's from Philly. He does not get a lot of love. He wrote some of the songs, had the reference track, and gave it to Breezy, and it sounds great. It sounded great both ways. But yeah, no, shout out to him. I don't think he gets enough credit, so we got to add him on this too, because he's solid. I would love to get him on here. 'cause
That'd be sick.
He's somebody who's continuing to get bigger and bigger. And I think he's gonna be. I think he's gonna be not only a good writer, but he's gonna be very, very good at. He's gonna be a great artist. So
That is sick that he's on the album.
yeah, oh yeah. Shout out to I gotta talk to Jimmy and see if he did some things on there too. But I'm sure that Jimmy did some music did some drums on somebody's album.
Somebody's got drums.
Yeah, from Jimmy. But yeah, new music. Drake dropped an extra 6 or 7 songs. I think it's pretty good, but I gotta give it the car test.
I had a little bit on today as I was kind of moving around doing some work. It sounds like Drake.
It sounds like Drake.
That's all. Because I'm not a big Drake guy, so
Okay.
Drake. It sounds like Drake.
2 Chainz and Lil Wayne dropped.
Love Wheezy. Wheezy's my top right now. He's on
2 Chainz and Wayne dropped. Shout out to 2 Chainz. 2 Chainz is one of my favorite rappers too. all for the setting and the vibe. But like, I think he doesn't get enough credit for his rapping ability. Like,
Yeah, I
2
agree.
Chainz is fire.
Yeah, but Wheezy's number one in my eyes right now. He's running the game. His
Wayne's
features.
the man, and he's taken like Wayne's had like so many separate runs. Like his obviously his like his early 2000s run to then the 2010s.
He's had like 4 primes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like he keeps reinventing himself, and he does a really good job of it. So you can't. I'm always excited when anytime he drops. And then he does the collab with 2 Chainz, who like you just gotta respect. Like 2 Chainz is really a legend, especially in Atlanta. So really, really good album.
My last Instagram post was a Lil Wayne punchline, by the way.
Was it really?
Yep, can't slip, walking on water, not ice.
Wow, I didn't even realize that.
That's on, I think that's on Titty Boy.
Okay.
You know whose name was originally that?
That was 2 Chainz.
It was 2 Chainz, right?
Yeah. Look how ironic that is.
Comes full circle.
That is wild.
But yeah, Wheezy's number one for me. I mean, he's always been at the top, but he's really climbing on my list right now.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I also want to do a mailbag.
A what?
I also want to do a mailbag.
What is that?
Like I want to start getting emails or like somebody reaching out to us about questions.
Yeah, I want to do that. I want to do that.
Yeah, I want to do that.
Drop your questions in the comments.
Drop the
I'll
questions
read
in the
'em.
comments, man.
Yeah, I want to do that. That'd be cool. You know, Osama bin Laden was labeled at 6'6", 165, by the way.
What, 6'6"?
6'6", 165 pounds.
Wow.
Put him in the lightweight division, by the way. Cut
Wow.
10 pounds, but he'd run the division.
I don't know how controversial what you're saying is, but yeah, theoretically,
I just saw it on.
that's actually unbelievable.
online.
I wouldn't have never guessed.
So yeah, let's get him in the lightweight division, and he would have ran that. By the way, just
Huh.
wanted to point that out.
That's wild.
It is crazy.
What's our next UFC pay-per-view?
296.
They're getting close. They're getting close to
Yeah,
that
I think
300.
it's Leon versus Colby.
Wembley? O2 Arena?
It's Vegas. It's Vegas.
Oh, it's Vegas.
Yeah, it's Vegas. Yeah, Leon Colby. Who's the co-main? I forget who the co-main is. I think it's someone good too, and it's
It
kind of
is
bothering
someone
me.
good.
But yeah, I think Leon is one of the greatest, man. He is so good.
He is really good.
People don't give him the respect, man.
No, they don't.
Golly, he's so skilled. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, no, he's excellent.
Like, I think he makes it look easy against Colby.
I think he will, and I think that one of the things that Colby does really well is make it difficult because of his pressure and his motor.
I think Leon's going to kick his leg off, and then he's going to box his head off. That's my prediction.
Pantoja versus Royval.
Oh, yeah. Love
Just looking at this fight card.
Pantoja.
Alexander Pantoja.
Pantoja. Yep,
Are we saying the J?
it is the
Okay.
J. J's
Brandon
included.
Royval. Shavkat Rachmanov versus Stephen Thompson. He's owed a fight, too.
Yeah.
They just give him the win. They just give him at least a decision. He's
Who?
got to get Wonder Boy. He's been like getting screwed over like a lot.
He has, but yeah, he just fought. Who did he just fight? He fought Kevin Holland. He beat the
But
brakes
that
off.
was a long time ago.
Beat the brakes off Kevin. Not too long ago. What's
No,
his
that
recent?
was a while ago.
What's his fight history?
I'm looking right now.
I think Kevin Holland was like 1 or 2 fights ago.
It was, but it was a long time ago because he had 2 fights that didn't happen.
Oh well, he declined the one.
This is December 3rd, 2022.
Oh
This is a full year.
yeah, because what's his face? Oh,
It was Michael Chiesa.
Michel Pereira didn't make weight, so he declined it. That's why he didn't fight.
Yes. Now, do you agree with that?
I'm fine with it. Look, man, you're in the UFC. Make the weight.
Yeah.
I got
like the
no
way for
problem
sure.
with Stephen Wonderboy Thompson declining that fight.
Yeah.
No problem with it. The fact that, I don't know, I think he got paid, but they originally didn't pay him. And he made weight, and he was, but
Yeah, it's not gonna
that's not
work.
on him. That's on his opponent. You should pay the man.
Yes. Correct.
So I wasn't happy about that. I think that's a very rational decision to not fight someone that didn't make weight. It's
Yeah.
unprofessional.
I like it.
He didn't do his job.
I like it.
Half the job is making the weight.
Tony
So-
Ferguson versus Patty Pimblett.
Dude, I am.
You're very interested in
I
that.
would just love.
You know who else is gonna be interested in that? Our boy Brendan Price. He's gonna be very interested in that. I know that's. I could smell that on him right now.
Patty is just
Shout out to Brendan Price. Get on the podcast, man. I can't believe you haven't come on the podcast yet.
crazy. Can't believe it. I can't believe how unlikable Patty is.
I disagree. I think he's extremely likable.
I don't think so.
I think he's extremely likable to the casual fan. I think the casual fan loves Patty, and I think that they're very interested in seeing him win. I don't think it's as big as it was because it was all the theatrics, and I think that people, even the casual fan, is starting to become more versed in it because outside of like football and basketball, I might go on a limb and say this. I think that there's more education in MMA and more outlets to be heard that are louder than like the other majors. Like I think MMA is starting to become louder in the space of like mainstream sport media than baseball and the NHL.
Yeah, I can agree.
Because like I think there's casual fans who I could sit here and have at least an intellectual conversation about what they're watching, not necessarily
Yeah.
like the intricacies of it all, but like they could tell that Patty lost that fight against Jared Gordon.
Yeah.
Like they could tell you that didn't make sense, even if they still don't understand like all the detail that goes into it.
Absolutely. I don't know. He just that was a tough one because he still praises himself for winning that fight. Which I mean, which is fine, I guess. You're the fighter. You gotta say you won because you got the decision. But
Yeah.
we all know you lost. You lost. So let's move it forward and let's get Tony Ferguson a win
Week
here.
with Hell Week with David Goggins.
I mean, of all people, that's expected from Tony.
So it's Tony Ferguson by $1 billion.
Tony Ferguson by $1 billion. Put it on him.
Okay, we gotta get a betting service on here.
We do. DraftKings. What are the other ones?
Oh, there's DraftKings, BetOnline, AG. There's FanDuel. There is.
You sound like a degenerate right now.
I mean, there's just so many of them though. There's Fanatics, Barstool.
Yeah, there's a
Yeah,
lot.
everybody's got a sports book that's making hundreds of millions of dollars. Vicente Luque versus Machado Gary.
Yeah, I think Gary's too
No,
good.
Ian Gary. Yeah.
Ian Gary. Yeah.
What's Ian
He
Machado
took his
Gary?
wife's He took his wife's name.
What?
Yeah.
He took his wife's name?
Yeah.
Wait. Hold on. You've never heard of that before?
No.
This is the first time I think I've ever. You know what's crazy? I think
I
I've
know
asked
it-
that. I think I asked it to my mom when I was like probably like 14 or something.
I knew it was a thing that you can do, but nobody does it.
That's crazy.
Like you're allowed to do it, but
You are allowed to do it. There's nothing wrong with that.
it's
But
just like it goes back to like way back when
I don't even know if that even existed as like a thing
Like
to take the man to take the woman's last
yeah,
name.
I know. Because it's always been the wife marries into the man's family.
I don't know anybody who's done that. I don't know of anybody who will do that
He's
or is
just-
even considered.
it's strange for sure. I don't even know what to say about it because it's
Wow.
very different.
That's actually incredible.
He's a great fighter though. I mean,
He is a great
I'm
fighter.
not, his personality is whatever. He's just got to sell it. He's selling
This
himself.
is a really good card.
It's a great card.
Josh Emmett versus Giga.
Giga, I used to be so high on Giga, and then he went to war with Calvin Cater, and I still like him. He's a great fighter.
like Calvin Kattar.
I love his left kick, but
I feel like
thought he was
Calvin
gonna be-
Cater is one of those guys who could be. He could be in the top 5 or 7, but there's like something about him that like I watch and I'm like, he's so good on the stand up. He's so good.
His boxing so good.
His boxing is unbelievable, but like there's something about his game that I'm like, it's still not. I want it to translate.
It's because that you have that Max fight in your head.
No, not even the Max fight so much. Like, it's. I just don't know who else he could fight that's like in the top like 4 or 5 that I think he would just like straight up beat. Because I think he would box better than other people, but I think he would still lose.
Yeah, it's mixed martial arts. You have to be an MMA fighter.
Yeah, you gotta do more.
You cannot be a specialist anymore. You just can't.
Yeah.
I mean, the cream of the crop, like the only one is Alex Pereira doing it.
Yeah.
Like he looks like a lost puppy on the ground. But
Yeah.
every round starts on the feet, and he just wins.
But he's so big.
So big.
It's hard to get him down.
Yeah, I mean,
If you get him down, you will probably win.
I know, but he's actually done a really good job at negating damage on the ground.
Well, so there it is. It's not being a
he just
specialist.
holds
It's just
on
like
until the next round,
you
which
got to be
is
good enough. You
it's
have to be good enough at everything else. But if you are going to be a specialist, you got to be lights out.
he
on the
finds a
next
way not to get hit, not take damage on the ground, and get to the next round, and
does.
that's his game.
thing. He really, really
And
does.
he's become a 2-weight world champion for it.
Irene Aldana versus Carol Rosa.
Yeah, Aldana
Cody-
just got smoked by Nunez. So
Cody Garbrandt versus Brian Kelleher. Like that's a prelim fight.
yeah, talk about the rise and fall of Cody Garbrandt. I mean, jeez,
Yeah,
what a shame.
he was a contender. He was a number one contender.
He was a champion.
Yeah,
He looked like a world beater against Dominic Cruz, and then he got chinned.
something
and
happened. Do you think it's a? Did he change anything as far as his game?
No, I think it's that whole thing of getting to the top, and then you don't know what to do.
Yeah,
Like, people-
there's more to do.
Everybody's goal is to be a world champion, but most people don't make it there. But
Yeah.
when you make it there, you realize, wait, I still got to fight again. Like, unless you
I
just
think I gotta take the right fights.
unless you retire on the spot.
That's why it's funny when Izzy was there, and I think that you see it now. You can always go back in hindsight if you're a casual fan and say, "Yeah, I wish Izzy fought some more tougher fights because it was like no, all these fights are tough."
he was fighting the toughest at the time.
Yeah.
he just made him look bad.
Yeah,
Like,
and when he wasn't like some of the fights didn't feel like they were as competitive when it came to like he wasn't striking a ton. No, he wasn't coming out with damage. People just want to see damage. Like
Yep, that's it.
yeah.
That's the whole UFC thing.
Which
for
I even
casuals.
want to see it in a
I
lot of
do
ways. I
too.
think I love watching it when it's even as technical as sometimes it gets, because it is very. There's so much detail, and even the not taking damage.
Yeah.
On both sides, like, and the grappling to the range to the distance, like keeping things where it is. It's such a calculated risk every single throw, every single punch, every single kick.
Yeah.
Like, it's so interesting when you watch it, but I think people underestimate how valuable it is to be at the top and how hard it is to be there.
Yeah, it's hard to get to the top. It's hard to stay up there. But
Alonzo Menafield versus Dustin Jacoby. I think that's
Okay.
a good early prelim fight.
yeah, that's a good one. I like it. It's a
I
good
like it.
card. It's a
It
great
is,
card.
it is a good card. It is a very good card.
I don't know. I don't know.
What do you got?
Do you believe in ghosts?
Mm-hmm.
Really? Have you any experiences?
I think so. If I'm to my question, to my answer, what I just answered, yes, I think so. I feel like I have. I've seen things for sure.
I don't know that I do. Because
I do believe in spirits, though. Maybe not ghosts in general. Like, I believe in the ghost of someone.
Like, do you think? How do I put this? Do you think like someone that didn't like you, like say they died and became a ghost, they can haunt you?
No,
Okay.
no. But I believe in like someone you loved who was there, who you had such an unbelievable relationship with, like being there as well. Like I could feel like if we were laying on this couch and like this place was, whatever it was, haunted. I think you could see somebody like in that doorway.
That's crazy.
Like I definitely have seen that. Like,
I don't know that I have.
yeah, I felt like I saw it in my basement
So-
not too long ago.
Your basement looks like the place for
It's
it.
got some characteristics.
Yeah, it does look like the place for it.
Yeah, it could definitely get a little wacky in there.
It's a little hard to. I'm gonna need some convincing by like a ghost expert
We
because
can
I don't know that I
would love to
believe
get
it.
one on here. See if there's somebody online.
I don't know that I believe it. I don't know.
I'm in to talk to somebody.
That'd be interesting. We'd have to do it in like a dark room with like a candle.
A Ouija board.
I've never had.
If you were, never mind. I'm not even gonna go there. I've met a lot of girls who were into the Ouija board between like 2010 to like 2013, 14.
There was that whole time frame where those they're not Ghostbusters, but those dudes on YouTube used to go to all the haunted places and they were blowing up.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that was the time frame.
Which
but
was weird because like they would bring like a whole like when, I've seen it. Remember they had that show on what was it? It was like a Ghostbusters type of show that like had episodes and things like it was like on a sci-fi channel or something.
I think I know what you're talking about. I don't know the
Yeah,
name.
people would bring like in my head. I'm thinking to myself like this team. They're bringing a whole production crew into this to see if there's a like it's gonna be. This has got to be fabricated to a degree. But
Yeah.
Because I think the real people who've seen them like are just gonna tell you the story and like it's gonna just keep you out a little bit.
Yeah, it's going to freak you out.
Yeah. But ghosts are I think they're there.
I'm going to need
I
some
think there's probably
convincing.
more good ghosts than we think though.
But what are they doing? Like, are they having a drink at the bar tonight?
No, they're just like kind of existing, and I think it. And I also think that it's to the point of like a haunted place. Usually, that's a much older spot or a building that had gotten. People claim that buildings have been built on like haunted area or land that used to be something, and then they tore that down. And yeah, I do think the ghost of somebody. Shout out to Justin Bieber. The ghost of somebody is real, and you just gotta.
We be throwing shout outs on this podcast.
We do. We're not
like
getting paid
it's
for 'em either.
nobody's business.
We do. I think we like all these people though.
Like, once we start getting paid, we're not shouting nobody out.
Yeah, no.
Nobody's
come
getting
and-
it for free.
Come and give me the scratch.
Subscribe to the Patreon, though.
Facts.
Yeah.
Patreon's coming.
Yeah. That's all I mean,
That's all I got too.
I'm ready for a night in Miami. I don't know what we're doing, but
yeah.
I gotta get ready for it.
You're not doing a night in Miami, right?
No,
Not at all.
no,
Right?
no. I'm right on this couch. Just like, dude, I'd be falling asleep like it's nobody's business.
You do fall asleep like nobody's business, dude. You might have like a thyroid issue or something. Guy's just falling asleep.
We were up. We're traveling yesterday. That was warranted.
Have you seen this golf thing at what's the spot near you in Jackson?
By Six
Venture
Flags?
Crossing?
Yeah.
Venture Crossing.
Yeah.
It looks kind of nuts.
Never been there, but it popped one day, you know?
Really?
Could you imagine being in there and it just starts coming down on you? Pause.
That was crazy. But it takes that takes a while to do.
Yeah, it doesn't just fall apart.
Yeah, but it's all very possible.
It is. I would like to go. Maybe Punch Your Chance visits that golf place.
And then we see who can hit the farthest.
Oh, dude, I'm taking it.
Yeah, I'm in.
I'd be generating
do
my
that.
hip power like nobody's business.
Yeah, you've got some torque.
Yeah, I got some hips on me.
Yeah, I'm actually in for that.
That'd be fun. Let's do it. Punch Your
Yeah.
Chance, take on the golf range.
Yeah, I'm in for that.
You know who's a big YouTube golf influencer? Probably one of the biggest is, do you know Garrett? Oh, what's his last name? Clark, I think it is. I think he's got.
We got to actually talk to a friend of ours who I won't say his name up here because he's told me that he wants to do this, but he's not 100% sure yet. But we will talk about Long Drive.
Long Drive.
It's a golf thing.
Okay, I'm in. I've seen
Yeah.
it. I've seen those big ass dudes getting into it.
Dude, they don't play around.
They be breaking their clubs on that torque.
Yeah. Oh,
I'm
yeah.
in for Long Drive. But yeah, Garrett Clark is one of the biggest golf YouTubers. I like him. And Bob Does Sports. I'm always going to be talking Bob Does Sports. You know that.
Bob does sports, baby.
Bob Does Sports. I mean, they were just here in Miami. They had a Miami Invitational for their golf thing. But they're not, I don't think they're here anymore. I think it was last week. Could you, if we were here on the same weekend of Bob Does Sports, I would have been walking around right now looking for him.
Yeah, there's Action Bronson's doing something in December 7th for Art Basel. That would be fun too. Art Basel's cool. And you're into art. You want some art pieces
I do want some artwork, yeah.
in the room.
Yeah, I do want some artwork. I got some in mind. But that'd be cool. And then we got early 2024. We're looking at trips. We got some trips planned.
Early 2024, we got some things we want to do. Like, view, subscribe. We love you. We care about you. We're about to have fun.
We in Miami.
We got to get Sexy Red on here. Eventually. We are out of here, ladies and gentlemen.
Peace.
Fun.